What is up, you guys? This is HTJ Halloween, and today I am back with another theme deep dive. And today we are doing the Clown Train from 2013, the front theme of 2013, by popular request. Now remember, back in these days, we had 3 themes. So I've talked about the Asylum, now I'm going to be talking about the Clown Train, but there's still a theme left from 2013, which was the middle Haunted Mansion theme. So maybe we'll get into that one later. Let me know if you want to see that in the comment section below. But anyways, I'm really excited because I think we're going to be looking forward to some spirit sneak peeks soon. So stay tuned. I know some of these theme deep dives might be getting boring, but there's stuff coming up. I have a really awesome video plan related to Stranger Things, and I also just saw that Spirit Halloween is making a movie. An actual film, so I think I'll probably address that as well. So stay tuned for those videos, and then hopefully soon we're going to get some sneak peeks because we're entering into July. Alrighty, y'all, so without further ado, let me go ahead and show you guys the official theme video for the Clown Train, and we'll go ahead and break it down.
Fortune is your only fortune. Riches, wealth, gold, and jewels. Brilliant are the dreams of fools.
Halloween costumes make me crazy. It beats what a pummel things with my hammer is. I think I'm going crazy again.
So there you go. That was the iconic Clown Train from 2013. I think back in the day, I wasn't quite as into the clown props, like back when I was younger. Nowadays, I would really appreciate seeing a clown theme again. And one thing I was just thinking is, you know, I really don't like how they've started to make the themes just super general and throw everything in. Like, why are we having clowns on a boat? Like, can we please bring back the days of having themes that felt really cohesive with the props and the theme design? Like, this was a perfect year. You had the clown theme in the front with all the clowns. You had a middle theme for the possessed type of stuff. And then you had the back theme, which was the Asylum for the gore stuff. And it all makes perfect sense. I feel like they put a lot less effort into it now by just throwing everything into one theme. But I digress. This theme is pretty iconic. I think everyone that was a Spirit fan during this time will remember the opening entrance. By the way, before I get into talking about the theme design, I also wanted to mention, I think it's interesting that this was their 30-year anniversary. So that means we're coming up on the 40-year anniversary next year, 2023. So that was just a thing I thought. I'm interested to see if they do anything cool for that. But oh god, it does make me feel old. But anyways, this is the entrance to the Clown Train. And this was really one of their most iconic entrances to the store as a whole, because this was the front theme. So you saw this big clown mouth at the front of the store, which just looked amazing. And we'll get into a second what the company was that designed it. It looks like it actually had some black... or no, maybe they just put it up against black poles. I can't tell, but there's definitely like maybe they had 2 black cardboard rectangles on each side, like rectangular prisms here. It looked like that it's holding it up, as you can kind of see, because the rest of it is 2-dimensional. And you basically have this big clown with this gaping mouth, teeth over your head, and this was something that was big enough for you to walk under. So it was really huge, and it also had the animation effect of the eyes rotating. So this was just really awesome. This is a really well done entrance because it really looked cool just looking in the store. You know, if you were walking by in a mall and you saw a mall store and saw this entrance, you'd be pretty enticed to go in. So I really hope they do something quite this cool sometime in the future. You know, not a complete copy, but they definitely could do something along this lines again. This is the picture I was going to show you guys from Inmark Creations. I guess they were the ones that designed the themes kind of back in the day. Yeah, you can see that it had this folded out black rectangles that said Spirit that kind of helped hold that up, and then you had these lights going across from the entrance to the train. And by the way, that entrance is what inspired me to do my Pennywise mouth entrance. I mean, it's a really cool idea to do a clown mouth entrance. But we did have 2 train cars in the back. It was basically supposed to be like a circus train, I'm assuming. The design on those wasn't that interesting. I think if they were to do it again this year or a future year, it would actually be a lot cooler, most likely, with this element, because these were a little bit 2D, not super intricate like we see with like the factory they did recently. But you just had 2 pretty basic clown cars on each side. You had the lights strung up in between, which I like that element because that kind of made it feel like when there's something overhead, it kind of makes you feel more immersed. And we'll get a closer up look at what was in each of those cars. But the cars are pretty simply designed with a red painted look. There was the Jack the Reaper on them, the Spirit logo, and they did have a little design of wheels down at the bottom to kind of make it look like a car. But once again, I feel like it was all pretty two-dimensional, very cardboard looking. And I think the design inside of the car was really just a black background. So I think they probably could have done something a little more interesting than that. But yeah, this is an interesting like product photo of what the theme design was supposed to look like. As you can see, it says Spirit Halloween Clown Train, and I guess maybe they won the bronze award at this competition that they brought this display to. So I thought that was just an interesting picture to throw in there. So let's take a closer look at some of these clown cars. Now, back in the day, 2013, we didn't have the best iPhone, so the pictures are not going to be the best. But let's take a peek back into time. What it would be like if you enter the store in 2013. You see there, they flaunted that it was their 30-year anniversary. So that does make me very interested to see what they're going to do for 2023. Because you see that pasted right up there on top of the car under Jack the Reaper. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with the 40-year. But yeah, this was the car on the left side. You see some of those retro looking boxes there, which is very cool. Those now would be very hard to find. And you actually had step pads hung up, it looks like, for sale, the old looking step pad. And then you had the try me buttons. They didn't have anything super intricate as far as the activations for the props went. But in here you had one prop that we've seen return. You'll see that there's 2 props in this theme now that have returned this past year or a couple years ago. So we had in this one, we have Bloody Bag of Jokes. So Bloody Bag of Jokes did return as an online only recently, and I don't know how similar he is to the 2013 version, but he was definitely one of the best props in here for sure. So he was an upside down hanging, bloodied bag of a clown, like a dead bag. And then you had this one that was basically like a pop-up kind of one that was sitting on its back, and then it would pop up, kind of the opposite of that shotgun zombie, the opposite motion. So that one, never I thought was that crazy, but that one was in there in the center. And then you had on the rightmost of this car, you had the Silent and Deadly Clown, kind of named after a fart, because that's what I think when I think silent but deadly. But you know what, it's very creative, silent and deadly, because he was just like the whispering clown. And I remember he was a fan favorite. I don't think I appreciated him as much at the time because he was so simple, but in retrospect, he was definitely probably the best clown in this display because he looks really realistic and he looks like a actual person painted a clown face on themselves. So it's not like this demon clown look, and just the eeriness of him whispering. But he doesn't have a lot of animations. That's why I don't think I ever really was super interested. You see there an old retro Bloody Bag of Jokes box, and yeah, this is what it would pretty much look like. You had a black background to the set design. You see some of the old price tags there. Wow, $149.99 and $169.99. Never again will we see prices like that for these life-size animatronics. But yeah, so you had these 3 guys holding down the fort on the left car. And then right across from that train was the other half of the train on the right side, which had 3 more things to look at. Once again, the same exact thing, but mirrored. You had the wheels at the bottom, a lot of like Spirit logo stuff. I wasn't super keen on the design of the trains. I do think it would look cooler if they did it nowadays. They were pretty simple, not much 3D elements to them, like I've said before. But on this side, we had some pretty cool props. Once again, another prop that has returned. So we've seen returns from both cars, but this one returned in store. As you guys know, Wacky Mole Clown. So I'm sure some of you guys recognize Wacky Mole Clown, and maybe if you're new, you wouldn't know that he was back all the way in 2013, nearly a decade ago. But we saw him resurgence in the 2021 factory. I definitely think he was more fitting in the clown train. I mean, in the factory, he was like the only clown, so he was kind of looking there a little bit funny, a little goofy by himself. And by the way, they did change it up a little bit. This one had a lot bigger shoes, and they were actually fluffy. I don't hate the way they redesigned him. I actually think the redesign's probably a little bit better. But for those that have a fondness for this guy, they probably, prefer the old version. I never really liked him even back in 2013, and I still don't really like him now. I think he's kind of goofy looking, kind of boring. That is just me. I just don't find him that scary, but he was in here, and I just remember not being super impressed with him back then. I was way more critical back then because honestly, my standards were higher, as they should be, because Spirit used to be cooler, but you know what? Whatever. I digress. We also had the kind of the clown version of Death Row. Oh God, I forget exactly what he was. I think it says his name right there though. Thrashing Clown, because I saw his box, an old Thrashing Clown box. I never got a chance to get him. Really, I didn't get most of the props back in this day because I wasn't buying them like crazy like I do now. But we had Thrashing Clown in that classic little wooden chair. It looks like that wooden chair is used in a lot of the sitting prop photos, I feel like the, that little cardboard chair set piece. But he was in there actually sitting down, and you had a TNT box that you would do. And he was pretty scary because he was like thrashing around, like feeling like he was being electrocuted. His outfit does kind of look like Twister. I'm not gonna, no shade, but it kind of looks like a Twister map. So I kind of wish they did something a little different than that. But you know what? He was a pretty cool looking clown. And then actually like behind him, you can kind of see there was like a third prop, I guess you would consider it, in here, which was like a mirror that turned into like a creepy clown painting. I'm not including that when I run through the animatronics because I don't really see that as being an animatronic, but it was a full, you can see it's $99. It was a full thing. It was that they were selling. So it actually is kind of cool because, it's a mirror, turns into something scary, pretty classic scare, but I just don't really consider it an animatronic necessarily because it's not really its own life-sized thing, but it was a mirror up on the back wall. So you had like 3 things to look at in each section. I don't think Thrashing Clown is as good as Death Row because it doesn't really make sense what's going on with him because Death Row clearly is being in the Death Row. He's being electrocuted by the electric chair, whereas this guy's just kind of bugging out. But he was kind of the reskin of Death Row as a clown, and I thought he looked pretty good in this theme. So those are the 2 cars, and I thought they both, for being kind of small, they housed a lot and housed a lot of cohesive, obviously because they're all clowns, good props. And I really do miss those days of the cohesiveness. Why not bring back a clown theme? We have lots of clowns every year now, ever since the Towering Clown kind of caused a resurgence of clowns. Why don't we do a theme? But anyways, I digress. We have here in the center, there was actually a bit of a centerpiece, which was just an animatronic. So this is just all part of the animatronic, I believe. I don't think any of this is a set design. This is just her. She might be sitting up on a little platform, but this was the Miss Fortune Teller. Never liked this prop. I thought it kind of looked cheap and cheesy, but it definitely was a good idea. I think if they did it again, it probably would be a lot better. But it was definitely a good idea. It was that Miss Fortune Teller girl you saw in the video where her head would turn and you see the zombie face. I just always thought she looked kind of goofy. I was never a super big fan. I just felt like it was too specific of a thing to make a prop out of, but I definitely liked it. I didn't like it. But I definitely thought it was like a decent prop, like not terrible, but it's just not something that I would buy. It definitely made sense though, where it was placed in the theme. So it was just kind of placed in the center, almost looking like a ticket booth, but it was, the Madam Misfortune. So it was a fortune teller booth. It made sense being in the little circus trains. So that's really all I have to say about that. Was never really a huge fan of her though. And she ended up fitting really well with the color scheme. I don't know if that was intentional when they designed either her or the cars, but she had like the red and yellow colors going on with her little box thing that was made of fabric. So let's run through what props we had. We had the Bloody Bag of Jokes, who is now returned. We had Dead Humor, kind of interesting. We had this girl that I just talked about. We had Silent and Deadly. We had Thrashing Clown with the TNT box. We had a Wacky Mole, the original, and that was it. And I forgot that girl's name for a second, but it was Misfortune Teller. So that was really the main props we had. Not a lot, but definitely a lot for the space. I mean, it was really just 2 little displays and then her in the center. So I don't think it was the most intricate and crazy design. I think they could do a circus and like almost like a theme park with like a roller coaster car or something crazy that could really kick this up to next level. I don't think they've really done their full potential of circus, but this was definitely solid, and it definitely was very cohesive. Everything fit. It was just all one type of prop, and I liked when they used to do that. So overall, I give this an 8.5 or an 8 out of 10. Mostly not a 9 or a 10 just because the theme design was a little bit basic, but it was 2013. We've shown even in the Asylum, ones that are remembered super fondly by me, the theme design is not as impressive as we remember, because they started to really step up their game in like 2015, 2016, and they started to get real intricate with the 3D. But this was definitely a good theme. Like, it felt immersive. You felt like you were in a clown carnival, and it was good. I would just love to see them redo it. It's maybe for the 40-year anniversary, maybe 2023, we could do another clown carnival. I really think they could do something so cool, like a clown tent. But anyways, guys, that is all I have to say about the Clown Train of 2013. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below, and don't forget to request the next theme that you want to see me do. Stay tuned for all the exciting stuff to come. Subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.